Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We told you we were going to have this interview. We were not going to not have this interview because Chalet has so much to talk about, and there are so many amazing things going on with her. And again, yeah, we were going to have this interview. So sometimes technical difficulties happen in this business, and you just have to learn how to work around them, and that's exactly what we did. But before we were so rudely interrupted, the question that I had asked Ms. Monique was, how did you get started in this business?
Okay, and I was stating that being a teacher, and it was my first year, and I started not at the beginning of the school year, but I started a little further into the school year. And I remember getting to the end of the school year just being so excited and grateful that I was in this journey. And we got these letters in the mail called RIF, Reduction in Force. And they were basically saying that the school district could not afford any new teachers anymore. So my contract had officially ended. And I'm like, God, I don't understand. I just started. I'm so excited. My students are going to miss me. Like, what am I going to do? And because I started so late in the year, I didn't have a full year of teaching experience yet. So I'm like, I had just finished my master's program. And I was like, God, I have to teach for 3 years before I can even do anything with my master's degree. And how am I going to get a job when I just got laid off? Like, now I have to start all over. And I remember crying, and I remember my son having an emergency, a family emergency. And I remember taking literally everything I had to remedy the situation. And because of that, I couldn't go to my master's degree program graduation. And I was heartbroken. So not only did I lost my job, my family emergency put me in a space where I just was like feeling like I wanted to give up on people. You know, sometimes when we put our hope in people that they would do the right thing, and especially when it comes to your kids, if anyone has kids and you put your kids in their hand and the situation does not work out the way you see it, you mamas, we don't play about our kids. So spending my last to make sure that my son was okay. And I remember my sister calling me saying that Jamal Bryant was coming to New Jersey for our pastor's anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, she was like, come to church. And it was supposed to be my graduation. And I was like, okay, I guess, whatever. And I remember going to church and just not really knowing what's going on. And I had $100 left on a debit card. And Jamal was like, I'm supposed to come here to preach about your pastor and his anniversary, but God is pulling me to tell somebody in here that you're going to do something that no one in your family has attempted to do, and it's going to happen with supernatural success because you've been carrying burdens of people. You've been carrying all this weight in the world, and now it's your time to do something, and it's going to blow your mind. And he was like, I need you to make a seed if you sow a seed if you believe this. And I'm like, I'm the type of person like I'd be feeling crazy for putting my little $10 in church. I'm like, but that's my truth. I ain't even gonna lie, nothing. I just so I was like, I only got $100 and it's on a debit card, and I'm not putting my money here. But God kept nudging at me and nudging at me and nudging at me, and this message spoke so strong to my spirit, and I had no idea why I was feeling the way I was feeling, but I was believing in God for something new because I had no idea what to do. And I remember writing my debit card number down on that paper and like, God, I cannot believe you got me out here doing this. Like, I don't even put $2 in the office tray, let alone put my debit card on a piece of paper and put it in a basket. Like, what? And I remember just feeling like released though. I felt released, and I remember crying nonstop. And next thing you know, I'm on Instagram, and it's the summertime. Teachers are out. I'm applying to all these jobs everywhere. At this point, I applied to jobs in Georgia. I applied to jobs in New Jersey. I applied everywhere and didn't hear anything back. And I can't even remember who it was, you guys. This is how you know it's a God thing. I can't even remember who it was, but somebody sent me a casting call and was like, you should do this. And I'm like, what do you mean? What is a casting call? Oh, to do a movie. A movie? I wouldn't even go in front of my class to say a speech. or read a poem or read out loud barely. What do you mean go acting? But my mind was so all over the place, and I was again fighting for something new, fighting for I didn't know what was going on. Mentally, I was not okay. And I was like, fine, I'll go. And I went with no idea what I was doing. And it was Nemi Hendrix. He was a film director at the time. He directed a lot of music videos like Fab and all of those people. Had no idea what that was at the time or who he was or anything like that. Didn't even go on his Instagram page to find out who he was. None of that. Just went. And he was like, oh, we got 24 hours to make this movie. You're going to be fighting in the street of Newark. I said, what do you mean fighting? You be able to be fighting in the street of Newark? I thought this was a movie. So I'm like, well, to be honest, people don't know this about me, but I used to be a little fighter back in the day. Okay.
Okay.
Like a lot. And I remember my teachers telling me, Shalèt, you gotta stop fighting everybody. Fighting is not the answer to nothing. And I used to be like, boom, boom, pound, care what you talking about. They getting slapped. And then, so it was just so crazy how I'm in the middle of stress. I know how to fight. But I don't know about fake fighting anybody. And I remember him just teaching us how to roll around on the street and how to do all this stuff. And I remember just being teachable. And that's one thing I learned in church, being fat, being faithful, available, and teachable. And as a teacher and as a believer of Christ, being teachable is such a powerful thing. Powerful. So I remember just being teachable and he's like, you're great to teach. You're great to teach. And I remember the next thing I know, he called me like, can you make it to Newark? Because we're in a film festival. I said, what the heck is a film festival? And he's like, we made it in the category for best short in 24 hours. And I'm like, whatever that means. Okay, I'm going. I put on my little red shoes and a little hat, and I went to Newark to this film festival, and I met Stephen St. Pierre. And he's like, he saw me. He's like, this girl looks so lost, and I had no idea what was going on. And he just kind of took me under his wing that day. He was like, this is a film festival, and people are coming here to present their films, and your film is going to be on a big screen. I said, excuse me? He said, your film is going to be like on the movie screen. I'm like, what are you talking about? So he directed me to the theater, and I'm just sitting there, and me on the screen. And I'm like, what is happening here? And then we had the nerve to win. Best short film in 24 hours.
Wow.
My first film, and Lorenz Tate presented the award, and his brothers. Lamar Tate? Mm-hmm. And I remember being on that stage like, I don't know what I got myself into, but this feels fun. And this feels like a release. And this feels like, remember that teacher that told you weren't going to do anything and fighting was going to make you go to jail? And I was like, well, look what it got me. Like, and that's all I could think of at the time. I was like, that's why I want to teach, because I want to be that person who reminds you don't have to be a product of your past. And as long as you're teachable, you can do anything. As long as you're willing to learn and you have the faith and you're available, right? So that's how I wound up getting into the industry. And then being a teacher, I understood the importance of educating yourself. So I started taking acting classes. I listened to people, what they told me to do. Nakia Dillard, he was in Philadelphia. At the time, he was on Black Lightning. And they were like, you should take his classes. So I started taking his classes, and I became a student of the art. And I just started learning. And then within my first 5 months, I had an agent in every market. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow. Well, you mentioned two good brothers, because Steve and Nakia, I'm very good friends with Nakia. And when I told him that you were coming on, he was so excited and started texting me all of these pictures.
Wow, yeah.
He was like, oh my gosh, that was one of my students. So yeah, he's a good brother. And Stevie and I met years ago through Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Another good, but yeah, I've known
Fun
Steven.
fact.
Yeah.
I used to tell Steven, I don't know nobody that doesn't have an iPhone, Steven. Why you got an Android? He's like, oh, you got to have an Android, the Android iPhone conversation. When Clubhouse started, I have sons, and they always breaking phones, or you always got to keep an extra phone because they always break their phones. But it was during a pandemic, so I was like, oh, they can't go outside to break no phone. So guess what I did? I mailed Steven my extra iPhone so he could go to Clubhouse.
Wow.
Steven is a good friend of mine, and Nakia is too. I've known Nakia. Oh my God, I've known Nakia since probably about 2008.
Oh wow.
somewhere that back in I knew Nakia back in the directing actors gym days, the Miles Maker days.
Wow.
I've
known
Wow.
Nakia for a long time. He's the homie.
Nakia and I wind up opening a youth acting class together in Jersey, because there was where I'm from in South Jersey. I'm like closer to Philly and an hour away from New York. So we're like in that in between place where parents really can't take their kids to New York or
Uh-huh.
all the time for acting classes. So I've made a middle ground and sent them into New Jersey for students to be able to take acting classes. And Nakia was my partner.
Nakia he still teaches acting, right?
Yes, he
Mm-hmm.
still has ICANN at school. Yeah.
Yep. So I opened one in New Jersey for the students, for the people who couldn't make it to New York and Philadelphia.
Nice.
That is amazing. So, Shalèt, can you, because I did a little research, and it seemed that every time there seemed to be something in your way, per se, you cleared space and you made room for the thing that was coming, even if you didn't know it was coming. But it seemed that every time you had an obstacle and you were obedient and you kept faith and you said, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen on the other side of this, but I'm going to move and take massive action anyway. And you cleared space for that thing to actually come to fruition. So can you talk about what it took for you, the courage that it took for you to say, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know the when or the when, but I'm going to move. I'm going to move anyway. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, because um, I know the Bible teaches us not to brag on things or to talk about certain things like fasting. And today, honestly, I just came off my 3-day fast,
Mm,
which is so significant because when you gave me this opportunity, I didn't plan on fasting, but life has prompted me to say, Shalay, you need to go into fast. And today I literally broke my fast. And I fast because I'm trying not to cry because it's so real. And one thing that I love about myself is being a neurodivergent. Most people don't know that I'm very autistic, but I don't let my disabilities or anything keep me from anything in life.
I was going to ask you if you were open to talking about that, but
Yeah,
you already walked into the door, so go ahead.
because God is making me okay, because what is considered a disability on earth is a gift in heaven. And God gives
mm,
gifts for a reason. And I'm a product of my gift, which might be looked upon as different or awkward or frowned upon or whatever the case may be in the world. But in God, it's my heavenly instrument. It's how God uses me, right? So I one of my things being neurodivergent is that I put other people before myself, because I feel people. I'm very empathetic. I'm an empath, and I feel people, and I always feel like I have I can put myself to the side to give the people what they want, even at my own expense, even when it hurts me, right? And it becomes challenging, but I had to go on a fast because a lot of times pushing yourself and your own thoughts and your ideas for the benefit of others can come crashing down on you. And
Mm-hmm.
it's hurtful and it's painful and it's your reality, right? And I say this to say there's so many women out there on their cycle, right? And it'll make sense to you in a second. When we get on our cycle, we feel like our world is crashing because all these emotions are coming out now. And it's like, I can't keep myself together. I can't. I'm emotionally all over the place. And that's because we've been strong all this time, but our cycle lets us release all the emotions that we've been strong Black women all this time until we no longer strong anymore, right? So it's really a gift. It's really a gift to be able to release those emotions and stop being so hard on yourself, because those are all the things you're suppressing. So I relate that to this industry and how we suppress so many things to keep our head right so that we can go through this journey. And we do have moments of breaking. We do have moments of self-doubt. We do have moments where our faith slips. We do have moments where we cry because we don't understand why we're not getting the things that we're holding on to hope for. But this is where I go back to say that we sometimes, if we're doing more harm to ourselves by putting faith in these things instead of putting faith into God's character, which says, at the right time, I will make it happen. Not on our own time, right? So, in this season, I'm just going to be transparent with you guys. And I felt this in my spirit. God had to prepare me to talk about this because I don't want people to think that I'm ungrateful for my journey. I don't want people to think that I don't see myself in what God has put in front of me. But I do want to reach the people that are in this journey and in this fight and feel like they're unseen, or feel like every time they feel like they're moving on or leveling up, you begin this cycle again where you're not good enough to make it to the next step, right? So with straw is one of the biggest things that I've worked on, right? I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful.
And you killed it. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. And I told God he can give me nothing else and I'll be content, just because of that experience was just so amazing to me, right? Now that's my faith. But my flesh, the person that wants more and more and more because I love what I do, feels hurt. Why? Because I booked Straw in 2024. And I listened to everybody saying, Shalèt, this is your first big role. Once you do Straw, you're going to take off. Everybody's going to want you in their films. Everybody's going to want you in your projects. Don't worry about not booking those roles. Don't worry about, getting all these auditions and not getting the role. You're going to book. Guess what happened after Straw? I didn't book anything.
Mm.
So then now everyone's like, that was the year later. That was 1 year later. Now we're into the second year, right? And they're like, Straw's up for awards. There's no way people aren't going to want you in their film. Like, this is, maybe it wasn't it coming out. Maybe it's the award now. Once the Straw wins this award, da, da, da. So you keep your faith in that. Keep your faith and hope in that. And that's where you confuse faith and hope, right? It was really my hope in it, right? My faith was wavering.
Mm.
So I'm like, my head was telling me, okay, but you listened to that before and nothing happened. I'm not going to put my faith in that, which I should have not put my hope in that, to be honest. But the awards came and I reached out to several agents to try to, get me some more traction. And every one of them told me no. Everyone. And I was grateful that they even said something back, because a lot of times they won't even tell you anything back, right? But they're like, you're so beautiful, but not right now. You got so much in store for you, but not right now. I can see you got a great trajectory, but not right now. And then you get back to 7 auditions in a week. I got 7 auditions, which I'm grateful for, in a course of 3 days that were due 2 days apart. And every one of them is a no. You see what I mean? It's hard.
But 2 things, I do want to say this, sis. 2 things can be true.
Mm-hmm.
You can be grateful for all of the blessings that you've had to this point and still want to progress.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's okay. And that's fair. As someone who literally lives in this space, right? All the auditions, no bookings, anything that I've had in the last year has been something I have put my hands on, not something that someone else has given me.
Yeah.
Right. Which is great, but it don't pay. Right.
And
this house don't pay for itself.
It doesn't.
Not any of the 3 apartments in this building that I have to run pay for themselves. Right. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I want to remind you that your faith can waver because we're human, right? We are spirits inhabiting a body, having this spiritual experience, this human experience. But your hope is also allowed.
Yes.
Right? Because faith is higher than hope, but hope is actually one of the greatest non-faith things, bigger than fear.
Right. Right.
So you can hope, you have faith in where God is taking you. The human in you is hoping for more. Disappointment is allowed if you don't get it.
Mhm.
But also remember that you have all of us that are watching you. And that's not for pressure. That's for reminder that you are where you're supposed to be, right? We're all watching you. We're all watching you. We're all cheering for you. We're all cheering with
Thank
you.
you.
But we're also here to hold you when, like those of us that understand it and live it are here to hold you when the thing lets you down.
Yeah. Thank
Right.
you.
So that's just a reminder to you that like faith and hope are different. And sometimes we as humans can unfortunately confuse and conflate them, but they're both necessary for our various experience because our faith, our spirit needs that, but our humanity needs hope.
That right there, and that's what keeps me going. So thank you so much, Okimi. That meant so much to me because it was confirmation on what I learned. So I could show you my phone. I went onto my Instagram to send Floyd the picture of the screen malfunctioning, and I hadn't been on there. So I saw that I had 1 million views in the last 30 days, and I literally texted to my friend and I said, "This is why God needs me to be in sound mind and sound heart, because." Even though hope always doesn't feel good to me when I keep hoping in things, someone needs my hope. Someone needs to see me. And that's how I have to navigate. But that was all part of my fast so that I can see clearly so God can show me why. Because part of me just says, you know what, Shalèt? Hope, having so much hope in something hurts, right? And I don't want to hurt. So, God, if this isn't for me, it's going to cause me to hurt, remove it from me. But God says, I put you here for a reason and it's bigger than you. And then I give you the ability to live it because it's not for you, it's for someone else. Right. So that's where I'm at. And that's what I don't talk about a lot. But I do want people to understand and see that just because it looks like you're doing all these things and getting in on NAACP awards and all these wonderful, great things, right? It's amazing and it's grateful and it gives you hope. But that does not mean that you're not still struggling on the back end trying to keep that hope alive. Trying to understand, how do I get these accolades, but I can't get an agent or a manager? How do I get these accolades, but I can't get a one-liner on a show that I audition? I literally could say, "Where's my baby?" And how do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's for the people out there who see everyone with the accolades. Just know that there's a struggle behind those accolades for so many of us.
Yeah.
I want to touch a little bit on your openness about your neurodivergence too, because it's so funny. I was, I just did, well, I don't know if you know, I just directed a film about a father learning how to love his nonverbal autistic daughter called Love Zuri.
Ooh,
And
is that Levi?
no, so no, I'm not going to touch that.
Okay, Kathy. Someone asked me to do a film like that, though. That's
so
why.
No, right. So ours is done.
Okay.
And it's in circuit.
Yes.
But I did see that Levi is doing one that is called Zoe's Words, which is very close to Love Zuri. So I can see how you can make the right. So anyway,
such a small world.
It is.
But so with that, I get a lot of, I follow a lot of neurodivergent children accounts because I work with neurodivergent children. I have several autistic students that I that I coach one-on-one in film and TV. And I was listening to something recently and they were talking about how special neurodivergent people are.
Very.
And how it is a spiritual alignment and who they're given to as children is divine by God for a reason. And who they get as children is divinely ordained by God for a reason, because neurodivergent spirits are, they are not of your standard plane, if you will. Yeah. And for some people, it gets a little woo-woo, and I get that. But I mean, I am ADHD. My neurospicy is mild, right? My neurospicy is mild.
I love ADHD. Those are my people.
But I recognize that, I watch you, and like, if you even read your bio, actor, stunt woman, because that man told you to fake fight, and then you said, well, I'm gonna just learn how to do it for real. Come on, Wakanda. Come on, Wakanda.
That was so fun.
Come on, Black Panther.
Okay. Come
You
on,
know what I
Ryan
mean?
Coogler, pull me in on another one in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And we
Oh.
believe that for you. But talk a little bit about the challenges emotionally in regulating yourself and what we just spoke about in terms of like both the elation and the disappointment. Because like you are always stunning on the carpet. The yellow dress on the end at the NAACP's, yes, girl.
$33.
Yes.
Don't let the think. Let me tell y'all better be a Sheen warrior like me and a Fashion Nova warrior like me, because that dress was $33, baby.
You sound like my daughter.
But the look was not.
But the look is favored.
It was
The look is
popping.
favored because when you put your faith in, I'm gonna have this budget and it's gonna look like them people that spent $2,000, $3,000 on the dress. That's what's gonna happen. That's hope.
Absolutely.
You look phenomenal.
That's also God giving
Thank
you a glimpse.
You look phenomenal.
That's God giving you glimpses, girl.
Thank you so much. I want to encourage you guys. You guys are still great in a budget. Trust me.
Absolutely. But I also know that as someone who, like, people see your big vivaciousness and your big personality and all your effervescence, and they don't realize that the neurospicy in you also, there's anxiety every time you go on a carpet. Yeah, there's anxiety every time. Like, people think they don't believe me when I tell them, like, no, I have society. Like, my girlfriend laughs because she's like, yo, you really are always home. I'm like, because outside is people-y and I can't always do it.
Yeah, right? Get overstimulated. Yes. And then you start
talk a little bit about being neurodivergent in a place where you're supposed to always be on, when sometimes on is off, child.
Oh, guess what? Let me tell you guys something. Even Sundance was a lot to me. I waited till the last dance to go because I didn't want to not go to Sundance before.
I'm so glad you did.
Me too. I'm so grateful because it's taught me a lot about myself. But anxiety is a huge one. And growing up as a kid, like I said, I never was in any plays or stood up in front of class and talked anything because my anxiety was so great. So being in this space where we have to forget our anxieties, but also acknowledge them that because they're part of us, but learn how to navigate and operate in them is very challenging. And a lot of times I go back in the videos and I see myself in the background and I see myself like, okay. And I be looking at myself like, girl, just stay still. Just stay in there. But I can't do that. I can't. And I'm okay with it. So no longer do I beat myself up and feel like I look crazy back there looking around and okay. It's just, that's me. You're going to get me. You're going to get all of me. And I'm learning to love and accept myself. I think God put me through this journey for me to love and accept myself, because growing up as a neurodivergent, people saw differences in you and they saw things about you, and they oh, she's weird, or she's strange, or she's too nice. I used to get, she's too nice all the time. And it made me question who I was. And that's where a lot of anxiety comes from. So this journey has taught me to trust myself, to love on myself, to enjoy myself and enjoy my differences. It's hard going on those carpets. It's hard going in front of all those people with your anxiety. You know what else is hard? Being a neurodivergent, and being ADHD, you hyper focus a lot on certain things. You hyper focus. And one of the biggest challenges for me that I don't speak on a lot, but I'm gonna let God use me in this space, is that you hyper focus on your career. You hyper focus on opportunity. You hyper focus on your auditions. You're constantly watching them over and over again, seeing if you did something wrong. You're constantly hyper focused. Or do this person not like me? Because why are they not doing this? And why are they not doing that? But it's the way that our brain is wired. So now we want to people please. We want to say, well, maybe I'm just too spurky, or maybe I'm too this, or maybe I'm too that. So you want to change all these things in you to do what you think people want from you. And breaking that is challenging. Breaking that is such a challenging thing to do, because that's where faith comes in. I know who I am. I know why I was created like this. And if I keep allowing myself to break down who I was created to be, I can never get to where I'm going. And to find that median is a journey. It really is a journey. And so also hyper focusing on it, because you also you don't want to make your career your idol. You don't want to idolize your career. So now you're struggling between, I got this ADHD hyper focus, but is this hyper focus and causing me to make this an idol? That's another thing that's very, very hard, and you have to separate. and you have to acknowledge, right? And then
you got the crash.
Then you got the crash. You got the emotional, because you're also a woman if you have ADHD and autism. Now you got the crash because now you're trying to be strong. You're trying to reshape your mind. You're trying to unteach yourself all the things you taught to cope yourself with. That's another thing. Unlearning the things you taught yourself to cope with the things that you're challenged with. That is hard.
Yep.
That is a very hard thing to do.
Then for good measure, throw in Auntie's perimenopause.
Ooh, yes.
I can't speak on that.
Part. People don't know, man. People don't know. It's so hard being a neurodivergent. It really is.
And most of us were never diagnosed as children. I have a friend who got diagnosed at 60.
I got diagnosed in my 30s.
Listen, I'm just getting to the party. I didn't have language for it. I just thought I was just different. I was like, it's my Capricorn.
You're right. You're right. And then you get the medications and they make you gain weight. Then they make you have suicidal thoughts. And they make
That's the one thing I didn't do. I didn't do meds. I've been doing holistic, but I do know friends that are thriving on meds. I'm not anti-med. I am anti what doesn't work for you.
Boom. And that's what I'm saying. I'm anti what doesn't work for you. So if you already know that you're hyper focused on your weight and your subconscious and your anxiety, and then you start taking Abilify, and you Abilify, this is all known thing. You start gaining weight, and now you don't feel good because you feel like it makes your hyper focusing even more extreme. So a lot of people, that's why a lot of neurodivergents are people who are unwilling to take the medication, right?
Yeah.
I say that for, I'm not against anything. I want you to do whatever makes you so happy, because I want you to live on this earth, this one life that you have, at peace. It's the greatest gift you can have. Yeah. Whatever's not bringing you peace, figure it out. But so being on the red carpets and having anxiety, and also the financial woes, it's not cheap. It's not cheap to get up and do these things. I filmed Straw 2 years ago. That means I got paid 2 years ago.
What, say it again, because people be like, "Oh, you got that check been spent."
Been spent, okay.
That check was half spent before I got it.
Before I got it,
and you
got catch up from being a starving artist, right?
Yeah.
So that been done. So now you're still 2 years later, still putting money into that process or portion of your journey.
Flights, makeup, outfits, transportation, hotels, feeding yourself on the road.
And I thank God for my scene partner. When I called her and told her we're going, she said, "Come to my house and stay." I said, "Jesus, I thank you." And it's like, you know what? But that's what makes the whole journey such a great experience. Being who you are, people accepting you for who you are, and just find those people to love on you, like you said. And I thank God for that part of my story too, because I've met some amazing, amazing people on set that hold you when you need to be held. And they don't even know you. They know you for a short amount of time. We shot that film in 4 or 5 days, and you build these long, here we are 2 years later, right? It's just such a beautiful journey, but it is a hard journey. It is, and everyone's going to tell you that this journey is not easy. It's not easy. And what they don't understand is that, or might not understand, because I don't want to assume that someone doesn't understand, is that now that you have these accolades, now that your agents find you in this ballpark, now they want to put you up against the Gail Beans with multiple credits, multiple recurring roles, multiple film credits, and the Danielle Deadweilers with Jesus. The girl's phenomenal. And you get in these spaces where you're auditioning with people who credits supersedes yours. Mm-hmm. So not only are you fighting to be in the room, you're fighting to be able to basically outdo them or outbook them.
Or at least
a word for it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, to also fight your own feelings of you don't belong there, because you look at their credits and yours, and it's like
6, 7, what them kids say. like you get what I'm saying? And you and the thing about it is that I don't look at their credits and things like that, but I just because and I love amazing things that they're doing, and I'm blessed by their journey. So I'm understanding the power of not comparison, but in reality, when you look at it, if you were to put me up against this person, they have multiple co-star already. So I don't let I don't let that be like, oh, you'll never get it, but there's a chance that this person definitely has what it takes to get that show for the producers, and we understand why the producer will want them to be in that role. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have to shape your mind and understand it and to move on.
Yeah, but that's amazing. But I always say if you're there, you're supposed to be there. Now you
Mm-hmm.
may not get it, but you're supposed to. And I tell people that all the time when, and of course, like you guys have been saying so eloquently, we're all human and we all have doubts. But I always tell young actors when I'm mentoring them, you're in the room for a reason. It's
Yeah.
something in you that they saw and they want to explore that.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not, and this is why I always hammer to them, book the room,
Yeah.
book the room. You're focused on booking the job, which is okay,
But
but focus on booking the room because sometimes well, all the time when you book that room, and I've done it when I was acting, I would do an audition, never hear from them. Then a year later, my manager's calling me saying, "You just booked this," and I'm saying to myself, "Well, I didn't audition for it. They
yeah.
remembered you from this."
This. Yeah. And yeah.
So it's amazing what happens when you step into a place with confidence. And I've been in rooms where I'm like, and I'll give you guys a quick story. I remember going on an audition, and this is when The Wire was that show. And
Yes.
a couple of the brothers that were very prominent in The Wire, I'm in the auditioning room with them, and I'm saying to myself now, why am I in here? And we got these dudes that's like doing major ish on the wire. I didn't get the part, but it was like it's just phenomenal being in a room with these people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It is. Then you got to be grateful for that. You have to be grateful for that. Like I'm so grateful when I see the people that book the roles. I be so grateful. Number one, I'm grateful because they're exactly where they're supposed to be, and it feels good to know that the person that's supposed to be there is there. And then two, that I was in that same space, so my blessing is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more that we reshape our minds and understand that, the journey becomes lighter.
Yeah.
And there are going to be times where we just can't always tap into that. But if we learn to tap into that more than a disappointment, because what I've learned about disappointment is disappointment doesn't come from God. You can't get disappointed, right? You get disappointment in the things that you put hope in or hope in, excuse me. And, but anything that God put, you can't get disappointed in, right? So with disappointment becomes a self check. You have to check yourself. Why am I so disappointed in this? Why did I want this? A lot of times, the reason why we want something isn't, how can I put this? Isn't strong enough to be so upset and broken over it. I want it so I can post it on Instagram. I want it because they got it too. I want it because this. Every time I ask God for something, I want it because I want to be a light in that space.
Mhm.
And maybe I wasn't meant to be in that space to be the light in that space, but wherever set I'm on, I want to make sure that I'm on there for purpose. I'm on purpose. You can't get upset with that because it's like, or disappointed in that because my purpose isn't there. It wasn't there. They don't need me there.
That's amazing. But you know what? I want to talk a little bit about being on the set of Straw
Yes.
and the character that you played. That was a powerful. That movie was powerful. That
Yeah.
movie had. I'm a baller, and that movie had me
Means
balling.
tears,
I'm
not
I'm I'm a, I'm a crier, so
not.
no, I'm not a baller or baller, but I'm a baller. And because we all go through things,
Mm-hmm.
and we all bear such heavy burdens for one thing or another. But can you talk about how you approached your role in Straw, having a background in special needs education and having to deal with children with special needs, and understanding that, hey, some days may not be the best days, but we have to get through those days. So how did that help you in your role in Straw?
First of all, that role, that whole straw booking was a journey in itself. I guess one of them unforgettable stories. And I remember being at the end of the school year. I auditioned in May. I got the script in May, and I was having seniors. I had seniors that year, and I remember getting the audition, and I remember just feeling like I done auditioned for about 5 years now. Like these auditions, I ain't putting my whole. I'm not putting. I'm not. We're gonna do it, but I don't expect nothing from it. Let's just put it that way. And I saw this script, and I was like, "This different. This is different." And this one right here sat in my heart, and I remember getting so excited. I remember printing it out at my school. Don't tell them I printed it out there because they be having a print count. But I remember printing it out, and I remember, you remember at the end of the year when you teachers don't give you no more work or nothing, you just in the classroom talking. And I remember sitting down reading this script, and my students coming up to me asking me what I was doing, and I was like, I'm reading this, and they're like, can we read with you? And I'm like, yes. I blacked out the little thing on the side, and we're just reading the script, and they're going back and forth with me, and they're playing, and I'm teaching them the importance of reading and breaking down the script, and I'm teaching them how to like this, relate this in real life so you can understand what you're reading. And it was just a whole little lesson. And the lines came so easy for me because I was literally teaching the kids how to read with emphasis, how to, what you think is going to happen next, using all these things that the teacher would. And I remember going in the audition room and auditioning for it, and coming back to school, and they're like, how was audition? I remember playing the audition for them, and they're like, it came out exactly the way we read it. Like it was like, they could see the words come off the screen. And I was talking to them about hidden figures and how, those type of stories don't look like it will burst into the screen like that, but look how hidden figures came off the page, right? So we were talking about that, and I didn't hear nothing back, and I got another audition for the same show. And I was like, see, and I explained to him, everything you want in life, no matter how good it feels, might not be for you, but you did your best in it. You put the work in it. And look, I might not have got that, but I got another opportunity for a smaller role. So the smaller role was like cashier number 2. And I'm holding a baby on my hip, and so I throw a bottle, and that's it. And they're like, okay, well, let's read it. And let's do it. So we're reading it again. And I remember not hearing nothing again. And now we're on the school bus getting ready to go to graduation. It's graduation day. And all the kids got their caps on. And I'm sitting on the bus, and I'm telling them, like, you ready? You ready? You ready? And they're like, yes, we're ready. Da, 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 da. And I get a call, and it's my agent. And they never call. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I answer, and she goes, you booked the role. I said, what? She said, you booked straw. I was like, okay, cashier. Guess what? Y'all got the cashier. She said, you didn't get that role. You got the lead role, the supporting role that you auditioned first for. And I just remember screaming. All the kids like, what are you talking about? I was like, remember we read this script? They all cheering. I was like, all right, we're not going to be cheering for me. We're going to cheer for y'all because it's y'all day today. And I remember them still trying to like cheer for me. And it was just a beautiful moment for them to see how persistence work, and how, it reminded me of life going to give you things that you want. They might not always look the way you see it, right? God has a way of spinning the block. So that was the story of how I booked the role. Then when I got on set and reading through the script, there was an alternative ending. We thought it was going to be one ending. We didn't know they were going to combine both the stories together.
Mm.
That was the cool part too. And to be honest, I didn't read the whole script. I read my parts because Tyler Perry does things very, 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 very fast. So we got that script the next day we were filming, okay? I just trying to get my lines in. We had like 30 something a day, like 30 something scenes a day. And I was like, all right, I know I'm in this scene. I didn't read the rest of the script. I just went in there, highlighted my parts, and got myself together to make sure that I was on point on set. And I didn't see it until the world saw it. And when I saw it the day of, well, not the world, at the premiere, I didn't even realize, because it was happening so fast, that Raya's character reminded me of myself so much.
Hmm.
And then guess what happened on TikTok? They were like, the real hero of the story is the banker who went live, because if the banker didn't go live, people wouldn't have seen what Taraji was really going through. And that is my mission at school, at work, all the time. I get to hear the parents' background stories, and I'll call them and say, "Hey, what's up? What's going on? What's tea? What's really happening?" And they would tell me, and I'll be like, "All right, you can't treat this kid like this because they got this and this going on." They're like, "Oh, you can't let them. Everybody got things going on. Everybody do, but this is a learning ground for them, because in the real world, they're not gonna get this. So we're gonna give them this while they're here, while we have them. We're gonna give them this here." So now they can attract the same thing. So that's what people don't teach you. They always throw them out and say, "Well, we're going to treat them this way because the world's not going to treat them like that when they get out there." But guess what? If they know what to accept from the world, they won't be easy to accept anything. Mm-hmm. So they're going to start attracting the things. I remember when my teacher did this and this and this and said this and gave me grace. I can't stay with you. I can't be around you. I can't allow myself to learn from you and grow from you, because it doesn't feel good. I know what it feels like to be treated different. That's what they don't teach. So I remember just relating to that situation and realizing, like, I did more than I thought I did. Mm-hmm. I really did. Like, I just thought I thought she just went live, but I didn't see the totality of it until I saw it. And it broke my heart, crying, because I didn't see the remaining part where everybody was looking at the video and people were speaking out towards her and all of that. And I just was like, wow, God, like, people really be going through things, and you have to treat people good regardless of what you're feeling, regardless of what you think and assume. Just treat people good. And that's how it will show up every day in life, for real.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a blessing when you get to watch your work and realize that you gave everything. Yeah. And it pays off.
Yes. It was so rewarding. Like, I don't know, working across Taraji, man, that lady is a masterclass. Literally. Sherry Shepherd, masterclass. Ashley, a master. They were all, everybody has so much to give. It made my role feel so much easier. Everyone has so much to give. It's really such this industry is such a unselfish space. That's what we do. We don't talk about that enough, how unselfish it is.
If you're in good company.
If you're in good company. That's why God could put me in good company, okay?
Listen, I know that's right. Listen, I have had Tashina Arnold ask me, "Am I giving you enough?"
Right? Because why not you, though?
I'm getting to that place to be able to feel that way and see that. I will be honest and say I'm getting there. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there.
Well, it's a journey. It's a journey for all of us.
Release the anxiety. Release the anxiety that you're not good enough, or you're not there enough, or blah, 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 whatever it is. Release that.
Listen, God was showing out. I booked the lead in a vertical and was on a plane in 2 days.
Yes.
And was like, I still don't know these lines, but okay.
Hey, it is. Hey,
they'll
listen.
come.
Oh no, we got it done.
I know. I'm just saying, they'll come when they need to come. They'll come, and it'll happen.
But I love that you are so transparent, and I love that you share, because our audience, we talk a lot about the business with the people that come on our show, but we don't get to really dive deep into all the time. Sometimes we do, but we don't really get to dive deep into being in the space and like having to find the wherewithal and the language and the consistency and support of yourself, and the, you know, and the stick-to-itness and the faith and the hope. Like, we don't really dig into our conversations from this level of spirituality and acknowledgement. And so I love this episode for that, because we are in a place where, listen, God is my, you know, God, Jesus, and a side of spiritualism, because I'm Caribbean. It is what it is, right? But whoever your thing is, you better have something these days.
You gotta have something.
You better have something.
The ancestors, whatever you need, bring them out.
Somebody,
there's
something out there bigger than you. Because if you think you did this, I challenge you to go stand in a rainstorm and tell me how you make it stop.
Oh, okay. Talk to the people. Yes, it bothers me so much when you hear that I.
Well, that's
And
because a lot of people are loving from survival.
I get it. But at the end of the day, people like to hear realism and they like to learn. And you can't be the overall educator. You can't, because some that it is just unclear. Because no human can do all of those things on their own. And I don't know. I try to take I out of me as much as possible. Now, when I say I went through the storm, I went through the storm. When I say I've been humbled, I've been humbled. Those are the things I will not take I out of, because I had a significant part in
The
those
lessons.
in the lessons. But there's no way you can do this on your own. There's no way possible. There's no way possible. Um, I just want to say this. I thank you guys so much for having me on here, because these are spaces and places where I don't I don't always want to be this transparent and honest, if that's true. But the spirit leads me, because I don't think it'd be my due diligence not to be transparent and honest. Because someone has to, or someone will learn from me or understand me or be in the same space as me. So I want to encourage everyone who see the things that I'm doing, that behind all these great things is a struggle. It's a daily struggle. It's a daily struggle of renewing my mind each and every day. It's a daily struggle of living one day at a time, because we always want to count for tomorrow and count for the next day and count for the weekend. But literally, my process is I have to start each day over and over again, because of how my brain processes and works. And in order for me to release the past and not lose heart, I have to forget former ways and start new ways. And that's not always an easy thing, because you want to drug the past up. You want to drug the past hurt and pain and disappointment, right? And I want to say, well, I booked straw, but I didn't get anything for 2 years after that. But no, I have to keep going forward, right? And it's not an easy thing to always go forward. So I want to challenge you this spring, as we spring forward, that you allow yourself to release yourself from the past, of all the heartaches, of all the disappointments, of all the no's, because they got you here today. But now live each day, day by day, just take it one day at a time. And that's how I learned how to deal with not only my neurodivergency, but my ability to hyper focus on things. So now I'll say, okay, today I was able to not be on Instagram for hours. I went on there, checked my messages, scrolled a little bit, got off. Tomorrow, I'll try. We'll figure tomorrow out tomorrow.
Yeah. I have a very close, wonderful person to me that says all the time, just win the day.
Win the day.
Win the day, and then you can tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Literally, just start, like, challenge yourself to just win the day. And that is even over your thoughts and ideas. The minute doubt comes in, the minute insecurity comes in, the minute that you feel like you're not good enough, the minute that you feel like you can't see past, the nose. I got to know today. Cool.
Child,
That's
I've had 3 this week.
right. That's today. What? Let's see what tomorrow brings.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, though. You are breathing. You got the best yes you can.
The greatest
Because,
gift.
baby, let me tell you something. What if God woke up one day and was like, y'all ain't getting this? Let me just cut off the air.
Off.
Let me just cut off the air. We can wash these out, start again.
Start
Yeah.
again.
He's done it before.
Period. He's done it before, okay? And we ain't far from it again. The world is out of control.
Listen.
But like you said, just one day at a time. So I want to encourage you, one day at a time. One day at a time. One day at a time. And when you do it, today I needed to scroll. Today I needed to be on here like that. Today I needed this. Whatever that day brings you, you needed it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Today I needed to feel sad about it, but do I bring that into the next day? No.
And not beating yourself up for just remembering that you're allowed to have human experience as well.
Yeah, you
So
are.
disappointment, falls, failures per se, like all of that is allowed because that's part of the human experience. Humans are the least the most fallible that you can be.
Yeah. And then just love on your journey too, is what I want to say. Love on your journey. And what love on your journey for me looks like, and this is what I write to myself. Shalèt, what does loving your journey mean? Being so content through good time and bad time because you know that you're not here by accident. Everybody didn't wake up and say, I want to be an actor. Everybody didn't wake up and say, I want to be a doctor. Everybody didn't wake up and say, I want to be a lawyer or a pharmacist. Those desires are placed in us because we have everything to fulfill it, no matter what it looks like.
For sure. Well, I know we got to get ready to kind of wrap things up. I'm going to leave that to you, sir.
Well, this was such an amazing show. It's interesting how, some entities didn't want this thing to happen because of the phenomenal conversation that happened. And that's why we had so many technical difficulties, because the enemy knew what was about to take place. But the devil is a liar, as we have said time and time again. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to this episode a couple of times, because every time that you listen to it, you're going to get a new lesson. And that is the beauty of doing this podcast and bringing on such amazing guests like Shalèt, because we are always learning something. And you learn a different side of what it is to be an actress or an actor in this business. When you see the red carpets and you see people smiling, you're like, oh, I want what they have. And I saw something that Shirley Ralph was saying the other day in a clip, and she was talking about comparison and wanting what someone else has. Comparison will get you in trouble, and wanting what someone else has will get you in trouble, because you don't know what space that person is in. And you're like, I want to jump right into their life. And you might be jumping into an inferno. So be content, as we've heard today, be content with where you are and what your life is, and the place where you are in your life. And even if things aren't going that well right now, because sometimes the hardest lessons are the best ones.
Right.
And I am a testament to that. I am a testament to that. Some of the hardest lessons that I've learned have turned me into the person that I am today. The man that I am today, the husband that I am today.
Amen.
The father.
Yes.
So sometimes you have to sit in that in order to come out on the other side a much better person. So it'll be okay. And I hope that you guys take that from this. I got a little emotional because this is an emotional podcast. But what is next for you, Miss Shalèt? What's next?
What is next for me?
Yes.
You got something big dropping soon, don't you?
Okay, so I just did Unrequited.
Ooh, we didn't even talk about that, girl. But the conversation was so amazing. We can talk about
Marcus Houston. That was amazing. Great to work with Zulai and Flex Alexander. I grew up watching him on TV. So for him to play my husband, wow. So that was a blessing. I love working with them. And I've also I led a feature film that will be going to theaters this summer called Leave. And it's, again, connecting education to, to the art. It's about Freemanville, Florida, where Black people had their own and they were thriving, and something happens. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. It was so fun. It was such a lesson. And it was such a journey. It was such a journey. To lead a film is a big responsibility. And I thank God for choosing me. And I thank Chris and Marcus for choosing me.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for joining myself, my amazing co-host Okima T. Moore, and the amazing, incomparable Shalèt Monique. I am so glad that you decided to go to Sundance because this podcast.
Well, she was already on my list of folks.
Oh, okay. Well,
she was already on my list.
And you see that? That's energy.
I love Okima. When I tell you that when I met her, it's been locked in since. She is such a beautiful spirit.
That's
you guys
my
are such
baby.
a beautiful spirit. I'm so grateful. I thank God for the people that I've met in this industry. I do. Grateful.
Yeah, that one right there. I don't play just so y'all general public know and understand. I don't play about that one right there.
And I don't play about you either.
I don't play about that one right there. She's one of the ones I don't play about.
Oh, I don't play about you. I love you guys. I'm grateful and thankful for you guys having me. As we close out, I encourage you guys to live day by day, and I encourage you that your dreams are valid and that keep hope alive. Honestly, it's so cliche, but it's the truth. And by faith, all things are possible. In your holy name, amen. Believe in something or fall for anything.
That part.
And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end it right there. I normally end it, but you know what? We're going to end it right there because the benediction was popping. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Have an absolutely amazing, amazing rest of your evening and week. Peace.
Wait a minute, because we can't tell them. We can't leave without telling them what we always tell them.
Well, you know what? Love it like a hobby.
Treat it like a business.
Ooh.
Take care, everyone.
Oh, I love that.
I took that from someone, but you know what?
It is our tag.
Invitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Don't go anywhere. Take care of everyone.
Wow, that was